The desert was silent, not the gentle silence of peace, but the heavy, pressing silence of a place that had seen death. Wind whispered over the cracked red soil. Faint dust clouds rolled across the empty horizon. The two suns above burned. In the pale sky, casting long sharp shadows over the dunes. And there, half buried in sand, lay the thing everyone feared. It was huge. Larger than any living creature Ethan Cole had ever seen. Its body was made of alien metal, now scorched and torn. Once, it must have been beautiful in a strange, otherworldly way. Sleek curves of silver armor, glowing blue lines running along its surface, sharp edges that spoke of speed and power. Now those curves were broken. The glowing lines were dead. Except for one faint pulse, deep in its chest. The locals called it the Guardian. Ethan had heard the name many times since crashing on this planet. Some spoke it with awe, others with fear. Every rumor said the same thing. The Guardian had been a weapon from the old wars, an unstoppable alien war machine that had once brought entire fleets to their knees. And yet, here it was, defeated, broken, left to die in the middle of nowhere. Ethan crouched on a dune, looking at the machine. His ship lay in ruins nearly 20 kilometers away, torn apart when it had come down through the planet's stormy atmosphere. He had been searching for days, trying to find anything. Metal panels, power cells, circuit boards, anything to help him get off this rock he had never expected to find. This dot he slid down the slope of sand, boots sinking into the soft ground as he approached the Guardian. Up close, the scale of it was overwhelming. The thing's head, if you could call it that, was nearly 3 meters tall. The alien armor was scarred, dented, and burnt black in places, but the craftsmanship was unmistakable. Whoever built it hadn't just made a machine. They had built a work of art meant for war. Ethan's eyes narrowed as he spotted movement. Not from the machine itself, but from inside its chest cavity. A faint light, pulsing once every few seconds. Like a heartbeat, he stepped closer, ignoring the way the hair on his arms rose. The locals had warned him not to approach the Guardian. They said it was cursed, that it had killed thousands, that it would kill again if it ever woke up. But Ethan didn't believe in curses. He believed in machinery. And machinery could be fixed. The first touch he placed a hand against the cold alien metal. The surface was smooth despite the damage, and even colder than the desert night air. For a moment he felt nothing. Then, a vibration, faint but distinct, ran through his palm. Ethan pulled back quickly, heart racing. That wasn't the wind. That wasn't his imagination. The Guardian was still alive. Impossible. He whispered, if it was alive, it meant there was a power core still functioning inside. And if there was a power core, maybe he could use it to power his own ship. His engineer's mind started calculating possibilities. He would need tools. He would need to open the armor plates without damaging the systems inside. And he would have to work fast. The light in its chest was weak, which meant whatever energy it had left was running out. Ethan glanced around. The desert stretched. In every direction, empty and endless. No witnesses. No interruptions. He set his pack down, pulled out his tools, and got to work. The warning hours passed. The sun dipped lower, and shadows stretched long across the sand. Ethan managed to pry open one of the smaller plates on the Guardian's side, revealing a maze of alien circuits and glowing conduits. The design was unlike anything he had seen before. The cables weren't just wires. They pulsed faintly, as if they carried something more than electricity. The alloy plating was impossibly light yet strong. Whoever had built this, they were far beyond human technology. Ethan reached in carefully, adjusting his tools to avoid cutting into anything important. That was when it happened. A voice. At first, it was just a faint vibration through the metal, but then it became sound deep, resonant, and cold. "Human, why are you here?" Ethan froze, his heart pounding in his chest. The Guardian's eyes, two huge crystal-like structures, flickered faintly, sending out a dim blue glow. You can talk? Ethan asked, barely able to breathe. Why have you awakened me? The voice asked again. Ethan swallowed hard. I'm just trying to fix my ship. You're damaged. I thought maybe I could help. There was silence for a moment. Then the Guardian said something that sent a chill down his spine. They will come. Who will? The Guardian's eyes dimmed again. My enemies. They will come for me. And now, they will come for you. The signal Ethan didn't understand at first. But then, as he looked at the exposed circuits, he saw it. A small device, buried deep in the Guardian systems, flashing. A faint red light. A transmitter. Oh no. Ethan muttered. He had been around enough military tech to know what that meant. The Guardian was broadcasting its location. And if its enemies were still out there, they were already on their way. He pulled his hand back, thinking fast. He could run. Leave this thing here. Try to hide. But something in him refused to walk away. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was the engineer in him, unable to resist the challenge of fixing something so advanced. Or maybe it was something else. A stubborn human instinct that whispered, if they fear it this much, maybe it's worth saving. The repair Ethan worked faster now. He patched circuits, rerouted power, and removed damaged components. The Guardian's chest light grew brighter with each adjustment. Every so often, the Guardian spoke, its voice slow and heavy. You are not afraid of me. Should I be? Ethan asked, tightening a connector. I have destroyed ships larger than your cities, the Guardian said. I have ended wars. Ethan gave a half smile. And yet, here you are, broken in the sand. Looks like even you can have a bad day. For a moment, there was silence, then a faint sound. Almost like a low chuckle. The awakening as the second sun dipped below the horizon. The Guardian systems came online one by one. The blue glow spread from its chest to its arms, legs, and finally to its head. The ground trembled as the massive machine slowly sat upright, sand cascading off its armor. Ethan stepped back, his tool still in hand. The Guardian towered above him now, its glowing eyes fixed on him. You have given me life again, it said. Yeah. You're welcome, Ethan said cautiously. The Guardian tilted its head, studying him. Humans are strange. Tell me something I don't know, Ethan replied. The machine's gaze shifted toward the horizon. We must move. They will be here soon. Who exactly are they? Ethan asked. But before the Guardian could answer, a sound split the air, a low, distant hum. Growing louder, Ethan turned toward the sound and saw three small objects streaking through the sky, leaving trails of fire behind them. Dropsh, IPS. Alien dropships. The first sign of trouble, the Guardian stood tall, its eyes blazing brighter now. They have found me. Ethan's instincts screamed at him to run, but his legs wouldn't move. Can you fight them? He asked. In this condition? No, the Guardian admitted. But I can protect you. One of the dropships descended rapidly, kicking up a storm of dust as it landed nearby. Figures emerged. Tall, thin aliens in dark armor, weapons glowing in their hands. Their movements were fast and precise, like predators. The lead alien raised a device and spoke in a sharp, clicking language. Ethan didn't understand the words, but he understood the way they were looking at him. They weren't here just for the Guardian. They were here for both of them. The decision. Ethan glanced at the Guardian, then at the approaching aliens. He had a choice: run now and maybe survive, or stay and help the very thing everyone said was too dangerous to exist. The Guardian seemed to sense his hesitation. You do not have to stay, human. Leave, and they may spare you. Ethan tightened his grip on his toolkit. Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter. Then stand behind me. The next moment, The night exploded with light and sound, and that was when everything changed. Dust swirled in the darkness as the alien dropships settled on the sand. The hum of their engines vibrated through the ground, a deep sound that made the air feel heavier. Ethan stood behind the Guardian, heart pounding in his chest. His fingers clenched the handle of his toolkit like it was a weapon, though against these things, it might as well have been a stick. The aliens stepped forward in a half-circle formation. They were tall, thin, and armored from head to toe in smooth black, plating that reflected the faint starlight. Their faces were hidden behind silver masks shaped like sharp insect heads. Blue light flickered from the slits where their eyes should have been. The leader, slightly taller than the rest, carried a long staff with a glowing tip. He raised it slowly, pointing it at the Guardian. A clicking, hissing language filled the air. Ethan didn't understand a word, but the Guardian did. "They are offering you mercy," the Guardian said, its deep voice calm but cold. "If you walk away now and leave me to them, they will let you live." Ethan's eyes narrowed. "Yeah, and what happens after they get you?" "They will dismantle me, destroy my core, and my memory." Ethan hesitated, watching the leader step closer. "Sounds like they're afraid of you." "They are afraid of what I know," the Guardian corrected. "I carry the strategies of 1,000 battles. I know the weaknesses of their fleets. I know the truth about their wars. That is why they will never stop hunting me." Ethan let out a slow breath. "Then I'm guessing they'll never stop hunting me either, now that I've been seen with you." "That is correct." The leader of the aliens barked another command in their sharp, insect-like tongue. The rest of the squad spread out, surrounding them from 3 sides. Ethan's mind raced. "I can't fight these things, but maybe I can negotiate." He stepped out from behind the Guardian, raising his hands. "Wait, we can make a deal," he shouted. The aliens paused, perhaps not understanding his words, but sensing his tone. The Guardian's eyes glowed faintly brighter. "Human, what are you doing?" "Buying us time," Ethan muttered under his breath. "The offer," the leader tilted his head, then tapped a button on his staff. A small holographic sphere appeared, projecting alien symbols into the air. The Guardian translated in a low voice. "They demand your surrender. They will let you keep your life, but not your freedom. You will work for them, repairing their machines, until you die." Ethan forced a laugh. "Yeah, that's not happening." The Guardian seemed almost amused. "Then what will you offer them?" Ethan's gaze drifted toward the broken dunes beyond. He had an idea, risky, probably stupid, but still an idea. He spoke loudly, pointing to the wreck of his own ship far in the distance. "I can give you human technology." The leader stiffened at the word human, even though Ethan was speaking English. That one word seemed to register. "They know your kind," the Guardian said, "and they fear you." "Good," Ethan muttered. The standoff for a long, tense moment. No one moved. The aliens kept their weapons ready. The Guardian stood tall and still, and Ethan felt sweat run down the side of his face. Then the leader spoke again, his tone sharp and final. The Guardian translated. "They refuse your offer. They want only..." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Then we're done talking." The Guardian moved before the aliens could react. With a sound like thunder, one massive arm slammed into the ground, sending up a wave of sand that blinded the attackers. Blue energy flashed from the Guardian's other arm, knocking 2 of the aliens off their feet. "Run!" The Guardian boomed. The escape Ethan didn't need to be told twice. He sprinted across the sand, the crash of weapons fire echoing behind him. The air sizzled as alien energy bolts flew past, lighting the night with bursts of blue-white fire. Guardian followed, each heavy step shaking the ground. It was slower than the aliens, but far stronger, swatting them aside when they got too close. A blast hit the sand right in front of Ethan, throwing him off his feet. He landed hard, gasping for air, his ears ringing. Before he could scramble up, a shadow fell over him. One of the aliens was aiming its weapon directly at his chest. The alien never got the chance to fire. A massive metal hand closed around it, crushing the weapon and throwing the soldier aside like a rag doll. The Guardian loomed over Ethan. "You will not die here." The hideout they ran for what felt like hours, though it was probably less than 30 minutes. By the time they stopped, they were deep inside a narrow canyon. Hidden from the sky, Ethan collapsed against a rock, trying to catch his breath. "You saved me back there. You repaired me," the Guardian said simply. "We are now linked," Ethan frowned. "Linked? When you restored my systems, you connected your tools to my core. In that moment, our data merged. I have some of your memories now." Ethan's eyes widened. "You can see my memories?" "Fragments," the Guardian said. "Your world, your wars, your victories, your losses." It paused. "Humans are unlike any species I have known." Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. "I could say the same about you." The Guardian shifted its massive frame, lowering itself so it could look Ethan in the eye. "I cannot survive on this planet without more repairs. My systems are failing. My enemies will send more ships soon." Ethan studied it carefully. "So what are you saying?" "I am saying this," the Guardian said slowly. "Help me restore my full power, and I will help you leave this world alive. Alone, you will die here. With me, you may survive." Ethan thought about it. On one hand, helping the Guardian might make him a bigger target. On the other, he was already a target. The aliens had seen him. They wouldn't just forget that. "All right," he said finally, "we have a deal." The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter. "Then let us begin." The scavenger hunt over the next few days. Ethan and the Guardian moved carefully through the wastelands, scavenging what they could from old battle sites. They found shattered drones, burned-out vehicle husks, and rusted alien weapons. Most of it was useless, but sometimes Ethan spotted a piece he could use. A power regulator here, a reinforced joint there. The Guardian was a strange companion. It didn't eat, didn't sleep, and barely spoke unless Ethan asked a question. But when it did speak, its words were precise and heavy with meaning. One night, as they camped in the shelter of an abandoned cargo hauler, Ethan asked, "Why were you really out there in the desert? How did you get taken down?" The Guardian's gaze was fixed on the stars, the trail. "My own creators turned against me when they feared my knowledge. They struck me down and left me to be destroyed by my enemies." "That's cold," Ethan said. The Guardian glanced at him. "Is it any colder than how your species has treated its own soldiers after wars?" Ethan didn't answer. The first hint of trust by the fourth day. They had enough parts to make significant repairs. Ethan worked for hours, his hands aching, as the Guardian powered down sections of its body to let him access its systems. As he worked, he noticed the Guardian watching him, not just monitoring the repairs, but studying him. "What?" Ethan asked finally. "You are not like the others I have met," the Guardian said. "Most would see me as a weapon to be controlled. You see me as a machine to be repaired." Ethan smirked. "Guess I'm just an optimist." The Guardian tilted its head slightly, "Or a fool." The threat returns on the fifth night, as Ethan finished reconnecting a key power line. The Guardian's sensors picked up something. It froze, then spoke in a low, urgent tone. "They are here." Ethan stiffened. "Already? How?" "They tracked my signal," the Guardian said. "Even at reduced power, I cannot hide forever." Ethan glanced toward the canyon entrance and saw lights moving in the distance. Bright, cold lights cutting through the dark. The Guardian rose to its full height. "We cannot fight them yet. We must move." Ethan grabbed his pack. "Where?" The Guardian's eyes glowed like twin beacons. "Somewhere they will not dare follow." The sound of engines filled the canyon. And once again, Ethan found himself running beside the most dangerous machine he had ever seen, bound together by a deal that could save them both, or doom them completely. The night was alive with the sound of engines. They echoed through the canyon walls like the growl of some huge predator hunting in the dark. Ethan ran hard, boots crunching over loose stones, while the Guardian moved beside him in long, powerful strides. The machine's glowing blue lines cut through the darkness like a trail of light. The alien lights behind them grew brighter. They weren't far now. Where exactly are we going? Ethan called, his voice strained from running. To a place they will not follow. The Guardian said, its voice steady despite the pace. Yeah, and what kind of place is that? The Guardian didn't answer. Ethan didn't like that. The forbiddance zone. The canyon narrowed until they were moving single file, the Guardian ahead, Ethan behind. The walls rose higher on each side, blotting out most of the starlight. The air grew colder, and a strange smell filled Ethan's nose, sharp, metallic, and almost electric. Finally, the canyon opened up again. Before them stretched a wide, flat plain, but the ground was cracked and scorched, as if lightning had struck it over and over. In the center, half buried in blackened rock, stood the skeletal remains of a massive alien structure. What is this place? Ethan asked. The dead field, the Guardian said. Long ago, a weapon was tested here. Its power still lingers. Ethan scanned the area. And you think they won't follow us in? They fear what sleeps beneath this ground, the Guardian replied. As should you, Ethan frowned. Great. Love that you didn't mention that part earlier. The pursuit ends. For now the sound of engines grew louder. Ethan turned to see the alien lights reaching the canyon's mouth, and then stopping. The ships hovered there for a moment, their beams sweeping the plain. Then, one by one, they turned and pulled back. They're leaving, Ethan said, almost not believing it. They will wait, the Guardian said. They will surround this place and watch. But they will not enter. Ethan sat down on a cracked rock, catching his breath. So we're stuck here. For now, the Guardian said. The truth about the enemy, while Ethan rested. The Guardian stood motionless, scanning the horizon. After a while, Ethan asked, Who exactly are they? You've been calling them enemies, but I still don't know who we're up against. They are called the Varen, the Guardian said. A warrior species, cold, efficient, without mercy. They have ruled this sector for centuries. Then how did you manage to fight them? Ethan asked. The Guardian's voice deepened. I was built to destroy them, and I succeeded too well. My victories made my creators fear I would one day turn on them. So they tried to erase me. Ethan shook his head. Figures. Win too much and suddenly you're the bad guy. The first sign of power, the Guardian knelt down, placing a massive hand against the scorched ground. This place will help me. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Help you how? There are energy wells beneath us, ancient, but still alive. If I can connect to them, I can restore more of my systems. Ethan stood. Then let's get to it. It wasn't easy work. The energy wells were buried under layers of rock fused into glass by whatever weapon had been fired here long ago. Ethan used cutting tools while the Guardian shifted heavy debris and drilled through the hardest layers. Hours passed. The alien night was silent except for the hum of tools and the distant crackle of unseen energy. Finally, they broke through. Blue light burst from the fissure, washing over them like a wave. The Guardian's body absorbed it instantly, its glow flaring brighter. Ethan stepped back, shielding his eyes. That's new. The Guardian rose to its full height, energy pulsing through its frame. Now, we strike first. The plan strike? Ethan said. As in, attack them? Yes, the Guardian said. They will not stop hunting us. Every moment we wait, they tighten their hold. We must hit them now, before they are ready. Ethan hesitated. I'm not exactly a soldier. I do not need you to be a soldier, the Guardian said. I need you to be human. Use your instincts. Think in ways they do not expect. Ethan gave a short laugh. You're really betting a lot on my so-called instincts. I have seen your memories, the Guardian said. Humans win battles they should not win. That is why you are dangerous. The first move under the Guardian's guidance, they began to prepare. The energy well gave the machine more power, but it still lacked certain parts for full combatability. They scavenged weapons from the wreckage around the dead field, alien cannons, missile pods, and strange devices that looked like floating orbs. Ethan reworked the alien tech, wiring it to respond to simple commands. By the third night, they were ready. The Guardian crouched low, almost blending with the shattered landscape. Ethan climbed into a hollow between its shoulder plates, gripping the handholds he had welded there. When we move fast, the Guardian said. Do not let go. Ethan tightened his grip. Trust me, I wasn't planning to. The ambush they launched out of the dead field like a shadow breaking free from the dark. The Guardian's massive strides devoured the ground. Its glowing lines dimmed to avoid detection. The Varan ships were waiting. Just as the Guardian predicted, spread out in a wide perimeter. The Guardian chose the smallest patrol first. 2 scout skimmers, hovering low. They never saw it coming. The Guardian surged forward, striking the first ship with a crushing blow that sent it spinning into the sand. The second tried to flee, but a blast from one of the salvaged cannons tore through its engine. Ethan held on tight, the wind ripping past his face. That was fast. They will send more, the Guardian said. We must keep moving. The chase turns within minutes. The Varan forces were in motion. Larger ships descended, firing streams of blue plasma that lit up the desert night. The Guardian dodged between dunes, sometimes diving low, sometimes leaping high enough that Ethan's stomach flipped. But then, instead of running farther, the Guardian stopped. Ethan shouted over the noise. What are you doing? Turning the hunt, the Guardian said. It pivoted, facing the nearest war skimmer head on. Blue energy surged through its arms, and with one massive strike, it ripped the skimmer's weapon array clean off, before the rest of the Varan could regroup. The Guardian unleashed a barrage from its stolen weapons, hitting 3 ships in rapid succession. The desert echoed with explosions. A message sent, the Varan finally began to pull back, regrouping farther out. The Guardian stood tall, watching them retreat. Ethan's heart was still racing. Did we just win? This was not victory, the Guardian said. This was a message. To them? Ethan asked. To everyone, the Guardian said. The Guardian is alive, and it has a human ally. Ethan exhaled slowly. Well, that'll get some attention. The cost when they returned to the dead field. Ethan noticed the Guardian moving slower. You're hurt. Not hurt, the Guardian said. Drained. The energy here will not last forever. We will need another source soon. And nodded grimly. And I'm guessing that means going somewhere even more dangerous. Yes, the Guardian said. They both looked out toward the horizon, where faint blue lights glimmered, the Varan regrouping for their next move. Ethan tightened his grip on his tools. Then I guess we'd better be ready. The first strike had been made, and now, the war between human and machine on one side and the Varan on the other had truly begun. The cold stars watched silently as Ethan and the Guardian made their way through the rough terrain. The desert night was quiet, but the tension hung thick in the air. The Guardian moved slowly, its once bright armor now dull and cracked from battle. Ethan kept a close eye on the machine, worried about every step. They were far from safety. The Varan would not give up. And time was running out. The weight of survival. Ethan's mind raced as he considered their situation. The Guardian had sacrificed much in the last fight. Its core was weak, its systems damaged beyond simple repair. Still, it stood beside him, silent, watching, Waiting. Ethan wiped dirt from his face and looked up at the endless sky. We can't keep running, he said softly. The Guardians. Eyes flickered in the darkness. Then what do you suggest? Ethan shook his head. I don't know. But hiding is not an option anymore. An unexpected signal suddenly. Ethan's comm unit beeped softly. He pulled it from his pocket, surprise. Washing over him, a faint signal, not from his own ship. Not from any known human base. Guardian, he whispered. I'm picking up a signal. The machine's eyes glowed brighter. Let me analyze. Moments later, the Guardian's voice was calm but strange. It is a distress call from a human outpost nearby. Ethan's heart quickened. Could they help us? They may not even know we exist, the Guardian replied. But it is worth investigating. The journey begins. They set off toward the signal source, moving carefully through rocky canyons and dusty plains. Ethan's mind wandered to questions he had been too afraid to ask. Why did the Guardian trust him? What was it about humans that made them so special? The machine did not answer at first. But as they walked, it finally spoke. Humans are unpredictable. Ethan chuckled softly. Unpredictable? That's one way to put it. Your species often chooses hope when logic says despair, the Guardian said. That makes you dangerous and fascinating. Arrival at the outpost after hours of travel. They reached the outpost. It was a small complex, battered but still functioning. Flags fluttered weakly in the wind. Inside, Ethan found weary soldiers and scientists, humans like him, struggling to survive far from Earth. They were shocked to see the Guardian. But Ethan quickly explained their story. The humans listened, eyes wide with disbelief. A machine like this, alive, fighting the Varian? The choice offered. The outpost commander approached Ethan with a serious look. We can help repair the Guardian, she said. But there is a cost. Ethan nodded slowly. What cost? The Viren know about this outpost now, she said. If we help you, we put everyone here in danger. Ethan's heart sank. We can't just abandon them. No, the commander agreed. But we can't fight the Viren alone. A hard decision that night. Ethan sat outside the outpost, staring at the stars. The weight of his choices pressed on him. Help the Guardian and risk the lives of these people, or leave it behind and hope they survive. He looked at the dark horizon. The war was bigger than any one person. He thought about his home, his family far away, and about the promise he had made to stand with the Guardian. A new plan the next morning. Ethan shared his thoughts with the commander and the Guardian. We can't run anymore, he said. We have to fight smart. The commander nodded. We'll prepare defenses and share our resources. The Guardian's eyes glowed with renewed strength. I will lend you my power. Together, they began planning, combining human strategy and the Guardian's advanced technology. Preparing for battle days passed as they worked. Soldiers trained under the Guardian's watchful gaze. Scientists repaired broken circuits and reinforced armor. Ethan felt hope growing inside him. For the first time since the crash, he believed they had a chance. But the Viren were coming. On the night before the attack, Ethan walked beside the Guardian. The machine was quiet, almost thoughtful. Do you ever fear death? Ethan asked. The Guardian paused. I do not fear. I understand it is part of existence. Ethan nodded. Me too. They looked up at the stars together, two unlikely allies. Standing against the dark, the battle approaches. As dawn broke, alarms rang through the outpost. The Viren fleet appeared on the horizon, a dark cloud of ships, ready to destroy everything. Ethan tightened his grip on his weapon. The Guardian stood, tall, glowing brighter than ever. The choice was made. Fight. The horizon burned red as the Viren fleet appeared, blotting out the rising sun. Hundreds of warships filled the sky, dark and menacing like a storm ready to crash. Ethan stood among the soldiers of the outpost, gripping his weapon tight. Beside The Guardian glowed brighter than ever, its armor shining blue light that cut through the early morning haze. "This is it," Ethan whispered. "We fight or die today." The Guardian's voice was calm and strong. "Or we survive." Preparing for battle, the outpost buzzed with last-minute preparations. Soldiers checked their weapons and ammunition. Engineers made final repairs to energy shields. Scientists uploaded new battle algorithms into the Guardian's core. Ethan felt the weight of the moment settle over him like a heavy cloak. He glanced at the Guardian, who stood silent, scanning the sky. "We've come a long way," Ethan said. "And it all comes down to this." The Guardian's eyes glowed steady. "We will stand together. We will not fall." The first wave of Varan fighters dived toward the outpost like a swarm of angry hornets. Ethan opened fire as the sky erupted in chaos. Lasers and plasma bolts flew in every direction. Lighting the battlefield. The Guardian moved like a giant shadow, smashing enemy fighters with its massive fists. Its energy shields absorbed blasts that would have destroyed a dozen human tanks. Soldiers cheered as the Guardian tore through the enemy ranks. The cost of war, but the victory was short-lived. A huge Varan cruiser appeared, unleashing a massive energy beam that struck the outpost's main shield. Explosions rocked the ground. Buildings crumbled. Soldiers fell. Ethan was thrown to the ground, ears ringing. He scrambled up and saw the Guardian struggling to hold the shield. "We can't hold much longer," the Guardian warned. Ethan looked around, heart pounding. They needed a plan fast. The human spirit amid the destruction. Ethan saw something he never expected. Hope. Soldiers, wounded but determined, rallied together. They helped each other, sharing weapons, carrying the injured. Ethan felt a surge of pride. "This is why we fight," he thought. "To protect those who cannot protect themselves." He ran toward the Guardian, shouting orders. "Focus your fire on that cruiser." The Guardian's eyes blazed with energy. "Understood." Turning the tide with renewed strength, the Guardian charged toward the cruiser. Energy crackled around its arms as it prepared a powerful strike. The Varan fleet tried to block its path, but the Guardian was unstoppable. With a mighty roar, it slammed into the cruiser's hull, tearing it apart. The explosion lit the sky, and the Varan fleet faltered. A new threat just as hope bloomed. Alarms blared again. A second cruiser appeared, larger and more heavily armed. Its weapons glowed purple. A strange, unknown energy. Ethan's heart sank. "This is bad," he whispered. Guardian scanned the cruiser. "This weapon is different," it said. "More powerful and more dangerous." The final push the battle became desperate. The Varan forces attacked from all sides, using every weapon and tactic they had. Ethan fought alongside the soldiers, dodging blasts and returning fire. The Guardian took the brunt of the assault, its armor cracking under the constant attack. But it did not fall. Sacrifice in a quiet moment amid the chaos. The Guardian turned to Ethan. "My core is failing," it said. "I must use my last weapon." Ethan nodded, understanding the cost. "You won't be alone." The Guardian raised its arms, energy building to a blinding glow. Ethan took cover as the Guardian released a massive pulse of power. The blast tore through the Varan fleet, destroying ships and weapons in a wave of light. But the Guardian's light faded. Aftermath. When the light dimmed, the battlefield was silent. The Varan fleet was broken, retreating into the darkness of space. Ethan approached the Guardian's motionless form, tears in his eyes. "You saved us all," he whispered. Guardian's eyes flickered weakly. "Humans are strong." Then silence. A new dawn. The sun rose over the broken outpost. Ethan stood alone, watching the sky. The war was not over, but hope remained. He vowed to keep fighting for the Guardian, for the humans, for the future, because sometimes, even in the darkest night, a single light can change everything. The sky was dark but alive with stars. The silence was heavy, pressing down on Ethan and the Guardian as they hid in the deep shadows of the abandoned mining facility. The huge alien war machine crouched low in the corner, its glowing blue eyes flickering softly, as if sensing the danger closing in. Ethan wiped sweat from his brow and looked around the broken metal walls. The place smelled of rust and dust. Every sound echoed, a drop of water, the creak of old metal, even his own breathing. Outside, the distant hum of alien ships grew louder. The Varen were coming. They wanted the Guardian, and now they wanted Ethan too. The cage closed as Ethan felt the weight of the moment. He was trapped, just like the Guardian. No clear way out. The Varen had sealed off all the exits with their machines. Giant drills and heavy walkers that crushed everything in their path. Their weapons glowed red, scanning for heat signatures. "We won't last long here," Ethan said, his voice low but firm. The Guardian's eyes dimmed, as if agreeing. "They are patient hunters," the Guardian said. "They will wait for hours, days, until we make a mistake." Ethan looked toward the only door, a heavy metal hatch, rusted and locked tight. "We have to find a way out," he said. The message from the enemy. Suddenly, the silence broke. A harsh voice echoed through the mining tunnels, speaking in the alien clicking language. Ethan couldn't understand the words, but the tone was clear, a warning, or maybe a threat. A bright holographic message projected in the air, showing the leader of the Varen squad. His insect-like face was cold and unforgiving. "You have two choices," the message said in broken basic, the common galactic language. "Surrender the Guardian, or die where you stand." Ethan clenched his fists. He looked at the Guardian, who remained silent. The threat was clear. But surrender was not an option. The Guardian's secret weapon. Ethan knelt next to the Guardian's leg, feeling the vibration of power flowing weakly through its frame. "We need to fight back," Ethan said. The Guardian's voice was calm but serious. "There is a weapon inside me, one that can end this siege. But using it will burn out my core. It will be my last act." Ethan's heart sank. "You mean, if you use it, you'll die?" "Yes," the Guardian said, "but I will take many enemies with me." Ethan stood, torn between hope and fear. "Plan, we don't have much time," Ethan said. "We need a plan that can stop the Varen, at least long enough for us to escape." The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter. "I will open the central reactor. It will take minutes to prepare. During that time, you must keep the enemy busy." Ethan nodded. "I'll do whatever it takes." The waiting game for what felt like hours. Ethan moved through the shadows, listening to the sounds of the alien siege. He saw their drills pounding into the walls, heard their heavy footsteps in the distance. Every time he made a noise, dozens of glowing red eyes scanned the darkness. His heart hammered in his chest. Ethan's courage despite the danger. Ethan knew he had to act. He found a rusted control panel and started hacking it, using his tools to send false signals to the VEYRN. Lights flickered. Doors opened and closed in the distance. The aliens grew confused, their formation breaking apart. Ethan smiled. Even small tricks could help. The signal of death inside the mining facility, the Guardian's core, began to glow. Power surged through its frame, lights pulsing faster. Ethan could feel the heat from the reactor. "Almost ready," the Guardian said. Outside, the aliens realized something was wrong. Their voices rose in alarm. "The final showdown begins." Suddenly, the doors of the mining tunnels burst open. The Varen stormed inside, weapons ready. Ethan took a deep breath, gripping a metal rod he had found. The Guardian stepped forward, towering over the aliens. Blue energy crackled around its arms. "I am ready," the Guardian said. The battle. The Varen fired first, blasting beams of plasma. The Guardian raised its arms, blocking the attack with shields of blue light. It swung one massive arm, smashing several attackers. Ethan dodged behind debris, throwing anything he could find. The battle was brutal and fast. The sound of metal against metal, explosions, and alien. Screams filled the air. The Guardian's last weapon as the fight raged. The Guardian's eyes flashed bright white. Now, Ethan. It said. Ethan nodded and took cover behind a thick pillar. The Guardian raised its hands toward the ceiling. Energy built up in a glowing orb above its head. Then, with a deafening roar, the weapon fired. A blast of pure energy exploded outward, destroying everything in its path. The aftermath. When the dust settled, the mining facility was a ruin. The Varen were silent, their forces broken. But the Guardian's light flickered and dimmed. Ethan ran to its side. "You're fading," he said softly. The Guardian's voice was weak. "I saved you once. Now you save me." Ethan's eyes filled with tears. The escape with the Guardian's power almost gone. Ethan searched for a way out. He found an emergency tunnel, narrow but clear. He helped the Guardian move toward it. Together, they slipped out just as the last Varen ship retreated. Outside, the stars shone cold and distant. A new beginning. Ethan looked up at the sky. The war was far from over, but they had survived. The Guardian's voice, though faint, still held hope. "We will fight again." Ethan smiled through his tiredness. "Together."